We're now joined by the number 4 ranked UFC bantamweight contender in the world, Corey Sandhagen. Corey, thank you for the time, sir.
Yeah, man, no problem.
We will take our first question from Caroline Pierce with BT Sport.
Okay.
Hey, Corey, I just wanted to ask you, how's this fight week experience been for you in Las Vegas? I know you seem a quieter man that doesn't like too much media and crowds, so how's it suiting you?
Yeah, I like it. It feels like we're just here to fight. You know, it feels a little bit more old school. It feels like there's a lot less smoke and mirrors. And yeah, that's cool. You know, there's a lot less distractions. It's a little bit boring, but my buddy brought an Xbox, so I've been trying to learn how to play Call of Duty, even though I still suck at it. But it's been okay. You know, it's been fun.
And have you been told that this fight is the number 1 contender fight, so the winner of this will get the next shot at the title? Has anyone actually said that to you, despite the fact on paper it looks like it will be that way?
My agent did tell me that was relayed to him by the UFC. Makes no sense to me. So it feels like, yeah, the title is just like right within my grasp. I just kind of got to reach my hand out and grab it. Should I be looking here or here? Okay.
And with Aljamain Sterling, you've talked before about, you know, raising your name and, you know, fights that will do that for you, despite obviously putting you in line for a title. Does a win over Aljamain Sterling get your name out there a little bit more as well, do you think? Because obviously you're on this impressive 7-fight win streak. And, you know, we know when it comes to these things, it's not just about the performances, but sometimes it comes down to who kind of sings and dances as well.
Yeah, I think Aljamain brings a good name value. It's maybe not like look at the co-main event is the Sunshine Garbrandt. So obviously our names aren't as big as those guys, which is okay with me. I know that stuff takes time, but yeah, I think with Aljamain, it definitely brings some name value. I think I'll get my name out there a little bit more, but more than anything, I think that there being 3 fights that are bantamweight fights on the main card is going to be able to allow me to display my skills very comparatively to the fights before and the fight after me. So that's what I'm excited about too, is that I get to show like, oh wow, that kid's different than the other bantamweight fights that I saw.
And does it bother you, despite being higher ranked, that your fight's not the co-main event?
It bothered me for like 5 minutes, but I really don't care. I'm just excited to fight.
And what are you looking to showcase in this fight? What kind of finish or performance will be the one that will satisfy you the most?
I just want to showcase my style. Like I think that I mean I give a lot of thoughtfulness, and I know that I say this a lot, but I give a lot of thoughtfulness and I give a lot of love to my style. You know, like I'm not just taking orders by my coaches. You know, like this is a lot of my heart in the fighting that I do. So that's what I want to show the people. You know, and I think that if enough people see that, they'll get on board with it because it is really exciting. It's a fun style to watch, and like I said, it's kind of like my baby. You know, my style is my baby, and I think I've done a really good job with it, and I want people to appreciate it. This thing is annoying.
And with how well Team Elevation's been doing with Blaze and Dash and Gaethje, you know, is there added motivation within camp, within that team, and you know, you feel like you're not just fighting for yourself, but for the team as well, getting that recognition more recently?
Sorry. Yeah, I think it's easier to be confident in yourself when you see your really good friends that are doing the same things as you, pretty much, having a lot of success also. So. I don't really know what we're doing at Elevation specifically. That's different than other gyms. I've been on this team since I first started training, so I don't really know what we're doing that's differently. But I will say that we all care about a lot. We all care about each other a lot, and yeah, I mean, it gives me a lot of confidence that everyone's just crushing it right now.
Absolutely. And lastly, from me, just talk to me about the style matchup between yourself and Aljamain.
Okay, yeah. So me and Aljamain kind of bring in a lot of similar advantages, right? Like we both like to move our feet. We both like to stay rangy. We both like to have a really high pace in fighting. And I think that's going to be what's going to be really interesting to watch. You know, it's always fun to go against someone and be like, oh, it's 2 wrestlers going against each other. Let's see who's the better wrestler. Or 2 strikers are going against each other. Let's see who's the better striker. Those matchups are always fun. And I think in the division, me and Aljamain are probably the most similar, I would say. We have a little bit of differences, but I think that's what I'm really excited to find out about myself too. Is am I as good as I think I am at these things? And that excites me to be like, okay, he's good at the same things as me, but I think I'm better, and I want to go be better than him at it.
Oh, I lost you for a moment there. Well, thank you for talking to me, and best of luck with your fight.
Yep, thanks a lot.
We'll take our next set of questions from Georgi Kokiashvili with Adyara Sport.
Corey, hello. How are you? How you feel?
I'm good. How you doing?
Thank you. I want to ask you about grappling. We all know that Aldo is so good at grappling. And how much time did you spend with takedown defense? And are you ready to be in the ground for a long time in this fight? Because Aldo is a very high level of grappling.
Am I ready to be on the ground for a lot of this fight?
Are you ready to spend more time on ground with Aldo?
I of course I feel like I am ready for that. I don't think that there's going to be a lot of time on there, but yeah, I mean, obviously I'm ready for that. Since August, all I've been focusing on is, hey, these are the guys that I'm probably going to fight, and these are their strengths, and all of them are good wrestlers. Like you have to know what you're doing. Fighting isn't just grappling, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and striking anymore. Like fighting is fighting, and that's what it is. So I don't see fights as categorized as that. To me, it's one big blend of all of them. But as far as fighting goes and the blending and mixing of all of them, yes, I feel very good in my skills in doing so against Aljamain.
Thank you. My second question is, we all know that Henry Cejudo left this bantamweight division, and you consider this fight as a semi-final to move on the final fight as a title shot?
Yeah, I mean, this definitely seems like if I win this, then I'm fighting the winner of Jan and Aldo, hopefully in the fall time. That's in my head what's playing out. Will that happen? I think it depends how well I do, right? Like I go out, I perform, I put on, and I show what I can do, and I show that I'm deserving of that, and that I earn something like that. And I think that I can definitely do that. And I think that if I do that, then yeah, I'm definitely getting a title shot afterwards.
Thank you so much. Wish you all the best.
Thank you, man.
And we'll take our last set of questions from Jim Barcelone with the Miami Herald.
Thank you so much. I'm wondering, your last fight was, I believe, in August, and then things happened after that. You were supposed to fight again, and whatever happened. But just with that time off, is there any differences? We had all this COVID-19, but were there any differences mentally and or physically just going through training, getting ready for one, now getting ready for this, and just going through that whole process?
Yeah, I mean, every time I want to fight, you think that it's time to take your foot off the gas. That's not what this is, man. It's like every fight you win, it's like, all right, well, it's going to be better, so I need to be getting that much better every single time. So that's where I always keep my mind. I don't really toy with too many ideas of not being the best that I can be. Like every single morning I wake up, it's all right, Corey, it's time to be the best that you can be today, and that means working on whatever I need to work on. And I put a lot of focus on that every single day, and that's what I go and do every single day. And yeah, it's paid off big time. Like I think, especially since August, I've had a lot of time to kind of work on a lot of things, because when you're in camp, you don't get to work on a ton of stuff, more sharpening tools, and you're kind of adding a couple specific things that cater towards your opponent. But for me, during this kind of off time, I've really been able to use it as this time for me being able to really improve just myself. And I've really enjoyed that aspect of kind of this little unasked for waiting that I've had to go through.
Obviously, without giving game plan away or anything like that, and discussing what you just discussed, how confident are you at trying different things at this stage of the game right now for this fight?
I don't I don't care about trying anything other than that isn't going to make me win. So what I think is going to make me win, I have down to a T right now. I mean, this talk to Aljamain has been in the works for like a really long time now. He's been on my mind for a really long time now, and solving that puzzle has been on my mind for a really long time now. So, I mean, I'm ready to go. I'm not going to try anything that I think is going to impress anyone. I don't think that I have the style that needs to do that. I think that just by itself, it's exciting on its own. So I don't feel like I need to do that. I'm not going to go out and try to do anything other than win and win as impressively as I can.
And then lastly, for me, and I hope I have this information right too, you're working part-time or had worked part-time at a trauma center for children?
Yeah, so Mount St. Vincent's is where, I mean, when you're a fighter, you got to be broke for a little bit, right? So Mount St. Vincent's was the facility that I still technically do work. I haven't been working through this whole coronavirus thing, but I do still work there, and I have been working there since I've been in the UFC. Instead of now, I'm not working overnights and 30 hours a week there, 40 hours a week there. Now I'm kind of just working there because it gives me this sense of doing something outside of fighting and doing something that does bring a little bit more meaning to my everyday life. So I'm only there about once a week right now, but that place is really special in my heart. They allowed me to be able to make my own schedule as I was coming up through my MMA career, which is really hard to do when you're a broke fighter, you know, and you're fighting for $2,000 and you're only fighting 3 times a year. That's really hard. So they really facilitated that for me, and I keep them really close to my heart. And although I haven't been there in probably 2 months or since all of this coronavirus stuff started, I mean, I'm definitely going to go back to work, if not next week, probably the week afterwards.
And that follow-up with that, just what is it like? Do the staff and the kids, they know that you're a fighter and how cool that is that you're also part of that? Or do you sort of keep it separate?
Yeah, I try to keep it separate. All of the staff is they support me, and they like to talk about it, you know, so they enjoy it, you know. I think that it's fun for them as well. As far as the kids, so the kids are there because they had a history of trauma, which means that a lot of the cases have some form of trauma or some type of abuse in the past. So for me, I try to keep it on wraps that I'm a fighter, especially in the UFC. I mean, when I tell them that I'm a fighter, the older ones that I think can kind of handle it and they can handle it, they think that I'm doing WWE. You know, like they think that I'm going out and wrestling John Cena. So I don't think that they really understand the caliber and the level of fighting that I actually am participating in. But I try to keep it a little separate. But the staff there, who honestly is who I'm a little bit more, I try to be there a little bit more for, because I know that developing a relationship with a kid once a week is difficult. But if I can take a little bit of the stress off from the staff, because that is an incredibly stressful job, if I can go in for a few hours a week and just take a little bit of stress off of them, then I think that they appreciate it. And that's nice for me to try to give back to them so that they're a little bit more refreshed, so that when they go form relationships, they can be a little bit stronger.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, man.
All right. Thank you, Corey. That is all the time we had for you, sir. You were good to go.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
And next up, we will be joined by UFC bantamweight Cody Garbrandt.